Good morning. Welcome to Speaking of Animals. I'm Amy Carotenuto from Flagler Humane Society with our lovely guest today, Colleen Leister from our Humane Society as well. She's our lobby manager. And our second lovely guest today is Kira. Kira just came to us just a couple of days ago. She was found by one of our officers as a stray, and she is a skeleton. So this is something that we see far too often. Just an animal that I believe she's relatively healthy. She has just been starved. And so now she's hanging out with our triage staff at the shelter wearing pajamas most of the time. And people are making her scrambled eggs and special little diet supplements. Yeah. She when we came into the studio, she had some treats and she was crunching into the microphone. I don't know. You may still get to hear some crunching going on during the show. But yeah, Kira is hopefully going to be another one of our transformation animals. We just recently changed our mission statement at the Humane Society. So our new mission statement says, we transform animals' lives through compassionate care and services, outstanding educational programs, and advocacy for all animals. And so Kira is hopefully going to be a perfect example of one of our transformations. And Colleen and I were talking about some of the transformations that we've had just, at the shelter all the time. But I know one of your favorite ones, Colleen, was Dudley.
Yes, Dudley. He was a puppy that was brought in. I remember it exactly. A young girl came in and said, I found a dog in a field and I can't get him out of my car. He won't walk. So I went outside and picked him up and put him down and he collapsed. And through, thankfully, Amy, your help at the shelter, we got him x-rayed and both of his elbows had been smashed. So he wasn't able to support himself on his front legs. Just awful situation. And again, thanks to the shelter, we got him to see some orthopedic doctors. He actually went and saw 3 who said he's young enough and it could fuse together and he could live a normal life. So a nice person down at Waterside Pools fell in love with him. Her name is Donna and she adopted him and he has been with her 3 years now. Aww. And not only does he have a home, but he swims, he does agility.
Wow.
And he has a buddy named Destro that he lives with and another buddy named George. And they tear it up and he goes on puppy play dates and he's literally living his best life.
Wow. And that recovery took more than months, like years, I think.
Just about a year, yeah.
Because I know the whole time he was at the shelter, he really couldn't really walk normally at all.
No,
so it was once he got home with Donna that, good thing they have a pool, right? I think that was
aquatherapy.
Yay.
Worked miracles.
Yay.
And the orthopedic surgeon said that would happen. It would take some time. Best case scenario for him is they fused straight as opposed to fusing bent. So he's able, you'd never guess. He runs around with just like any normal dog.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool because I remember too, like he just looked so pitiful. Like, you just don't know that it's too bad we can't see into the future and know, like, because he was so sad at first. It was just heartbreaking.
And 3 months old, so he was very young. So he either suffered a fall or something slammed on him to do that to both elbows.
Wow. So that's one of many transformations. I know recently we had a dog that had like an emotional transformation.
Really?
My Luna, my favorite, she was my favorite for a little while. She came into us from another county. It was a case where it was a homeless woman that had 30 dogs somehow on property. And the woman fell ill and wasn't able to keep her animals at all. She had to go into the hospital, and animal control from that county collected the animals, but there were 4 that they could not catch. These 4 were so wild, and some great volunteers from that area got got the dogs, rescued them through, humane trapping, and they brought them to us just because they had already saturated every other animal control agency
Yes.
in anywhere near them, even though this was several hours away. So they brought the most scared ones to us. They lived in my office for a while, and one by one they started to become more socialized. They got, 3 of them got adopted within, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah,
3,
it's
4 weeks
amazing
or
to
so.
see that transformation,
Yeah.
to see them, the trust build after everything they've been through. So yeah, it
Yeah.
did take a little bit.
It
but
took a little bit. And then the last one, named Luna, she was mostly black but had like really pretty, like sort of silvery shoulders, and breed, who knows?
She looked like an Egyptian dog.
There
You'd
we
see
go.
on hieroglyphics. She was,
She was kind of a unique,
very
for sure.
exotic.
Yes.
Very
yes.
exotic.
So it took her a long time. Like she kept it, and she became so socialized, but she recognized what she'd been through, I think. And so she would take new dogs that we would introduce to her that were scared, and she would make them like adoptable. And she did that for what? How many? Probably 10 other scared dogs that we would just. Luna lived in my office, and we'd introduce these scared dogs to Luna, and they'd come around like within sometimes minutes, hours,
yes.
days.
It was like the formula: put that dog
Yeah.
with Luna, and it'll get
Luna.
adopted.
So then Luna finally got adopted.
She did. Her day
last
came.
week. Yes, finally. I had said always a bridesmaid, never a bride, and I think when I said that to this one lady, she felt so sorry for her. She adopted her, but Luna has the best home right now. Her dad is retired. Her mom works 3 days a week at the hospital, so she has a very nurturing, caring personality.
And her own sofa.
Yes, Luna has her own couch now and toys, and she has a friend that's a shepherd, and they play, and so Luna's life was definitely transformed. So that's another one of our happy stories.
Yes.
And there's one also recently. I would definitely like to clarify. There's been a lot of rumors about this dog. There was a dog that had been hit in the rump with birdshot. We never were able to find out who hurt the dog, but we came under fire for people thought that we didn't get the birdshot removed fast enough, but you don't remove birdshot. Birdshot it takes much more out of the animal if you're going in to get 20 little pellets out of them than just leaving the pellets in there. And this dog, we named her Brooke, and she lived in the admin area of the shelter, and she did great. And who knows who really hurt her. We never did learn that, but Brooke was adopted within 18 days of being at the shelter.
Yes.
She was another one that made a lot of friends while she was at the shelter, and now her parents bring her in to visit all the time.
All the time. In fact, they were so thankful for how the care that we took of her. They brought us a statue of a French bulldog in a beret, appropriately. We've named that statue Brooke.
Oh.
And they were so thankful that they wanted us to have that as a reminder and just to show their appreciation for everything they did. And Brooke is a regular customer now. She comes to nail trim. She comes to visit the officer that rescued her. We have multiple videos of them together, and the family's just so thankful for her.
And she's so pretty. She's got a little heavy.
It happens to the best of us, but that's good living. That's what that is.
Good living. Okay. But we were talking also, there was that hound dog that you were talking about.
Yes.
What was that one again?
A hound dog came in right before Christmas, so we named her appropriately Christmas. She was caught in a rabbit snare, and somebody found her in the woods, and the snare was bone to the bone. And our vet that was off duty came in and removed that snare.
And you said she went to where the dog was, right? I didn't.
The founder brought it into the
Okay.
shelter, and the vet met us at the shelter and took that snare out immediately. She had been there for days. She was emaciated down to the bone as well. We didn't think she would make it or keep the leg, and she made it. kept the leg, and her name is now Cassie. And she is living the good life with a wonderful home and 3 cat roommates that she goes on leash walks with. And we get to see another regular. I love seeing the animals come
When
back.
they come back to visit.
Yeah.
Yes, the people. It just totally makes our day when we get visits from our alumni.
Yes.
So. Well, we are going to talk about some more transformations when we come back from this break. Welcome back to Speaking of Animals. I'm Amy Carotenuto here with Colleen Leister and Kira, and thought I would talk about something that is hopefully not political. This is not red or blue, but very happy to discuss that the National Institutes of Health is closing its largest animal testing lab that was beagles, and this, the EPA also, which has long required animal testing for things like pesticides and fuel additives, they also plan to revive an agency ban on animal testing that went back to like 2018 or so. They had set deadlines to reduce animal testing 30% by 2025, which did not happen. Then they were going to eradicate it altogether by 2035. But at that time, the administration didn't go by that. And they rely on millions of animals every year in the United States. And so we're just so pleased that NIH is closing this lab, the largest lab. This has been a fight for decades. You and I were saying that we both in college wrote reports and did speeches
on anti-vivisection, which is animal testing.
Yeah, it's
way back then.
Yeah, and to think like we're finally making progress after all this time. That the largest beagle lab is closing. They were doing tests on like sepsis shock and
diabetes, sepsis shock,
cutting the vocal cords of the dogs so that they couldn't howl during testing. And it's hard to believe that this kind of stuff was still going on. I don't think the average person realizes how much animal testing has still been going on,
right.
Whether it's for medical, done in the colleges for medical, or done by companies for, the new and improved version of stuff that's been out decades.
Shampoos, conditioners, makeup.
New and improved. Why?
Right.
We're done. We don't need any more
improvements.
New and improved at the risk of animals being tortured. So this is so huge. Read up on it. It's interesting. It's heartbreaking to read what has been done to these animals, but the fact that it's now going to be ending is amazing.
What a victory.
Yes. So we were talking about transformations. You think about what these dogs have been through, and their lives are that's a transformation there. Hopefully, these animals will get out of the labs and be able to be adopted by just regular families that will love them. It's always beagles that are tested, right? You said that
beagles are always used because of their size, and they're not as aggressive as other breeds would be. And some of these dogs are bred in the labs, so they have no idea what being in a home really is, or being part of a family.
It's so sad that they're bred to live that kind of life and never have a real life, just be tested on over and over and over. It's heartbreaking. So thankfully that hopefully is a chapter that's going to end not only this particular lab at NIH, but this is a step in the right direction. That there's animal testing never has really been accurate either.
No.
That's the crux of it, is like
that's the difficult part of it.
And now with like AI, like why would we be testing on animals when usually by the time it gets to, if it's a medicine, by the time it gets to the human end, none of those tests were really accurate anyway, because dogs or monkeys or whatever, it's a different species.
Biologically, it won't have the same results.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
So it's been such a waste. It's been, our tax dollars funding it too, like millions, billions, whatever. It's it's just a crazy amount of money that's spent and lives that have been ruined. And but now hopefully scientists will start going more, with some of the other methods of testing, and with AI out there, it just seems like
Yeah.
it's going
And
to
other
be.
companies, big companies, will follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, with this big eye opening, people will start to, recognize and say, this isn't necessary anymore. It wasn't necessary to begin with.
Right, right. It
But they
wasn't-
kept justifying it. But now they have all these other avenues to go. So
Yeah. So
you don't have to do it at the expense of a life.
yeah. So when you're buying products, like, it's worth looking. There's so many labels now that will say cruelty free,
Yes.
and it's worth at least taking a look to see, see if you're supporting a company that still does animal testing, even though, like we say, it's not it's not necessary anymore. It never was, and it really isn't now. So keep an eye on your labels and look for things that are cruelty free, because that, those dogs that are going through, those dogs, those rabbits, that they're just like your pets. Why don't they deserve a good life too? So, and let's talk about some more good transformations. I know we got more shelter stories.
Oh my goodness, so many.
How about Gloria?
Gloria, that was a pit bull. Came in, I believe, Amy. She was animal control went out to find her. She was tied to a
On a
stake
chain.
on a chain. Unfortunately, next to her, already deceased, emaciated brother.
Yeah, and that the woman that had those dogs did go to jail for a very short time, but it was a victory. But Gloria, as we named her, she was another one came into us as skinny as Kira,
Yes.
with some health issues, minor health issues on top of that. But I know she's
She was riddled with fleas and worms
yeah.
from living outside on the chain and in the elements.
yeah.
She had skin issues. She had exposure.
And she ended up becoming like a favorite of our whole medical team. So
Yes.
she was like the medical team mascot for
Yep.
months. And she finally got adopted, and another one in a great home that now, now her skinniness is not a problem.
It happened again, but that's good living.
Yeah, that's good living.
That's going to be for you, Kira.
Well, we're going to talk more happy transformations when we come back.
Okay.
Welcome back to Speaking of Animals. Colleen, we had one more transformation that you were going to talk about with Baby and Bluebell.
Yes, Baby and Bluebell were a bonded pair that could not be without one another. They were at the shelter for over a year because we wanted them to go together, and it's hard to adopt two dogs out to
They were big
one
dogs,
family,
too.
and they were big dogs. And after a year and the patience and the goodness of the community, we got them a home, and now they're able to live together in a forever home, which is it's why we do what we do.
Exactly. And it is hard with the big dogs. We can get little dogs adopted together quite often, but the big dogs, it's hard. But those two were so bonded.
They would get upset if they
Yeah.
were apart. We tried maybe, if we separate them just to see how it goes. If one goes out and the other one stays, they were a bonded pair.
Yeah, I
So-
remember we had a big old celebration when they
We
left.
did. We did. We had a procession out the door for them, and they're doing really, really well. And again,
Yay.
another happy tale.
Yeah, we love those.
Just perseverance and hanging in there. I tell every animal every day, someday your day's gonna come.
Aw.
It's gonna come.
It could come.
Your birthday's gonna come. Like Kira here, and we're blessed to see that come to fruition
For
from
sure.
start to finish.
Yeah.
From something like this to living in a home with a family, and we get to see them at nail trim or for their yearly vaccines. So that's really what it's all about.
For sure. It totally makes our day. So we have one quick announcement for a fundraiser coming up. Actually, it's today. It's Saturday, May 17th, is the fashion show at Halifax Plantation. And it doesn't start till 11, so you might just have time to get there. So it's $50, and there's clothing from Peppers. So it's a really nice fundraiser that a group called Animal Angels does for us. So we appreciate that. Well, Kira, thanks for being on the show. You've been a good guest, other
Yes.
than getting in the trash.
But just one time.
Just one time.
And it was a plate. So if you want to come down and meet Kira, she will be available pending a medical exam, a full medical exam, and just to make sure we get some good weight on her. But you can definitely come down and meet her, and we're accepting applications.
Yes, and to meet her is to fall in love with her. She's so
Oh my
sweet.
goodness.
Just,
oh my goodness.
just super sweet. She just jumps up and hugs everybody, and
Yes.
she's only like 24 pounds, and she's full grown. So there was definitely
Perfect size.
some diet issues there that stunted her growth. So sad story that's going to turn into a happy story.
Absolutely. And if it's not Kira, come on down. We have so many other dogs that are in need, and cats that are in need of homes. So if not Kira, she could be the springboard to get somebody else a home.
For sure. Well, thanks, Colleen, and thank you,
Oh,
Kira.
thank you.
And thanks to everybody that listens.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.